name is Kathy, and today I'll be continuing the discussion on the Bach Flower Essences and their practical use. Continue with their use on ailments. Today, we'll look at the ailments that these essences can help with, continuing with the letter I and continuing on with J. But before I do, I wanted to let you know that because I have a great many videos now on many different topics, that I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Initiative, insufficient initiative. When we have insufficient initiative that is caused by failure, use gentian. Gentian restores our enthusiasm when we become discouraged by difficulty or failure. When we have insufficient initiative due to stress and overwork, use hornbeam. Hornbeam counters the crippling feeling that we are not up to meeting the challenges of everyday life. When we have insufficient initiative due to a lack of self-confidence, use larch. Larch brings us more enthusiasm by restoring our confidence in our abilities. When we have insufficient initiative due to depression, use mustard. When we have insufficient initiative due to a general feeling of resignation, use wild rose. Wild rose awakens the life spirit when we have lost our enthusiasm and just plod through life. Insecurity, fear, instability. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability, and we gloss this over, use agrimony. Sometimes we need to pretend that we are secure even though we are quaking in our boots with fear. In the long term, this will result in harmful stress because we have to deal with our own stress as well as the suspicions of others. Agrimony allows us to show our insecurity. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability due to a lack of self-confidence, use Serato. Serato helps when we don't trust our own instincts and look for help and advice where we can find it. Whenever we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities due to a need for recognition, use heather. A strong need for recognition is often motivated by an equally strong fear of disrespect, which can cause insecurity. Heather helps us acknowledge that we don't need to seem so high and mighty. When we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities due to feelings of inferiority, use larch. We can be relaxed and at peace only when we feel that we are confident and capable. Larch helps restore our self-confidence. When we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities due to fear, use mimulus. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability due to indecisiveness, use scleranthus. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability due to bad experiences, use Star of Bethlehem. When we cannot work through a devastating or traumatic experience, it continues to affect us internally and creates insecurities. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability caused by being too easily influenced, use walnut. Walnut is for people who are too easily made insecure and dissuaded from their plans or desires. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability due to the lack of life goals, use wild oat. Wild oat helps us become confident and secure with respect to our long-term life goals. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability caused by feelings of inferiority, use Serato and larch. When we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities caused by fear, use Serato and mimulus. When we have insecurities, fears, and instability caused by fear or of a guilty conscience, use Serato and pine. When we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities caused by a shocking experience, use Serato and Star of Bethlehem. When we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities due to being too easily influenced, use Serato and walnut. When we have insecurities, fears, and instabilities due to lack of overall life concept, use serrato and wild oat. Insomnia. Insomnia has many possible causes. Next to the organic causes, such as liver, gallbladder, lungs, intestine, and thyroid, there are also psychic factors that play an important role. The mind cannot relax as long as it's preoccupied with a serious problem. It's better to avoid these troubling thoughts at night time. When we wake up between 11 p.m. and 3 a.m., it's a sign that there is a problem in the liver and gallbladder system. If we wake up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m., it's a sign of stress and worries. When there is insomnia due to problems kept secret, use agrimony. When there's insomnia due to mulling over our worries, use elm. When there is insomnia due to anger and rage, use holly. When there's insomnia due to a general feeling of stress and overwork, use hornbeam. When there's insomnia due to general restlessness and nervousness, use impatience. When there's insomnia due to fear, use mimulus. When there's insomnia caused by depression, use mustard. When there's insomnia caused by a weakness of the heart, use olive. When there's insomnia caused by a guilt complex, use pine. When there's insomnia caused by worrying about others, use red chestnut. When there's insomnia caused by mental overstimulation, use white chestnut. When there is insomnia caused by bitterness and resentment, use willow. Instability. Instability should not be confused with flexibility. Flexibility means the ability to adapt appropriately to constantly changing life situations. Instability means drifting about like a boat in a stormy sea and being unable to navigate properly. We can find ourselves in situations we don't want to be in. For instability, when our insecurity makes us continually seek advice, use serrato. For instability, when we have no endurance and give up at the first sign of difficulties, use gentian. For instability, when we do not dare to stand our ground because of a lack of self-confidence, use larch. For instability, when we are indecisive and too easily distracted, use scleranthus. For instability, when a traumatic experience causes us to lose our psychic stability, use Star of Bethlehem. For instability, when we're too easily influenced, use walnut. For instability, when we don't know what we want and constantly change our plans, use wild oat. Lack of interest. When there's a lack of interest due to an insufficient hunger for knowledge, use chestnut bud. Chestnut bud makes us more attentive and able to learn from our experiences. When there's a lack of interest in the present due to dreams of the future, use clematis. When we're so caught up in dreams and fantasies of a wonderful future that we're not interested in the present, use clematis, as it can turn our attention back to reality. When there is a lack of interest due to persistent thoughts of the past, use honeysuckle. Honeysuckle lets our memories fade until they assume the proper proportion so that they don't interfere with our view of the present. Intestinal conditions. For diarrhea, use aspen. For terrible general diarrhea, use mimulus. For diarrhea that has a clear cause, use rock rose. For diarrhea that is due to panic, use Star of Bethlehem. For constipation, use agrimony. For constipation when due to tension, use aspen. For terrible general constipation with a clear cause that is due to fear, use mimulus. For general purifying and cleansing, use crabapple. For constipation that is due to imposed morality and guilt feelings, use crabapple and mimulus. For constipation that is due to doggedness and stubbornness, use oak. For constipation that is due to weakness, use olive and wild rose. Intolerance, allergies. Intolerance can be reasonable and even necessary when we're in danger of losing our independence, but as soon as it becomes a habit, it can isolate us and even turn us into enemies. Allergies are a form of intolerance. The body simply can't abide certain substances. Mental intolerance can be inborn, or it can be the result of a psychic trauma that has led to a pathological change in attitude. As an example, overstimulated nerves can cause us to have an intolerance to noise. Or if we have been deceived by somebody, we can develop an intolerance to dishonesty. When there is intolerance of allergies that are internalized and glossed over, use beech. Beech helps resolve intolerances that are deep-seated and integrated into our character. It is generally not a conscious phenomena and is often masked by exaggerated false tolerance. Beech should be taken for any form of intolerance or allergies, either alone or in combination with any of the following appropriate essences. When there is intolerance of allergies against oneself, use rock water and beech. People who impose strict discipline on themselves cannot stand certain qualities of character about themselves. They try to suppress or overcome these characteristics by holding one-sided attitudes and maintaining extreme lifestyles. In doing this, they lose the wholeness of their being. When there is intolerance of allergies caused by missionary zeal, use vervain. Vervain is for people who are so sure of the rightness of their own convictions that they feel that everyone else will benefit from them. This is a dogmatic way of saying that they impose their ideas on others. When there is intolerance of allergies because of a closed-minded, know-it-all headspace, use vine. Vine is indicated when we can't listen to anyone's opinions but our own. When there is total intolerance of allergies, use beech and vine. When there is intolerance of allergies because of intolerant behavior, use vervain and vine. Irritability, aggression. When there is irritability and aggression in general, use holly. When there is irritability and aggression caused by impatience, use impatience. When there's irritability and aggression due to fear, use holly and mimulus. When there is irritability and aggression and impatience, use holly and impatience. When there's irritability and aggression because of the need to be a do-gooder, use holly and vine. Jealousy. Jealousy is a trait in humans and in animals. It is one of the basic reactions in nature and an instinctive reaction when our existence is threatened. We react jealously when something essential to our existence is taken from us or withheld from us. For an infant, it is a matter of survival to fight for its mother's essential love. For adults, it is threatening to their existence to lose the goodwill and attention of those on whom their material, spiritual, or emotional life depends. In such cases, we react aggressively and try to defend our rights, despite this natural justification. Jealousy can lose its life-saving essence when it becomes excessive or arises for no reason. Inappropriate or excessive anxiety often lead us to feel more threatened than we actually are, and this means that we become more jealous than we need to be, and we react more forcefully than is called for. When there is excessive jealousy due to an excessive need for attention, use chicory. Chicory suppresses any pathological need for love that gives rise to jealousy at the sign of restrictions. Children often need chicory, which could be favorably combined with holly or willow. When there is excessive jealousy and aggressiveness, use holly. Anyone who manifests their jealousy aggressively needs holly. Joy, lack of joy, depression. Joy means life. A lack of joy is dangerous, directly or indirectly, in the long term. When there's a lack of joy of depression with bad moods and depression, use mustard. When there is lack of joy or depression and guilt feelings, use pine and mustard. When there's lack of joy or depression caused by worrying, use red chestnut and mustard. When there's lack of joy or depression caused by excessive self-discipline, use rock water and mustard. When there's lack of joy or depression due to a lack of meaning or purpose in life, use wild oat and mustard. I have a great many videos now on many different topics, and so I've decided to make several different video playlists so that it's easy to find the videos of greatest interest. So please check out my playlist page. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button right below this video. Take care.